Hey, you're all out of beer!
What's up?
I said no beer. Yeah, I don't even see any Angry Orchard in here.
Sorry about that, Saki. I'll add it to the grocery list.
Cool. What are you playing over there anyway?
Oh, just Super Mario RPG. 25th anniversary, so I figured I should give it a go, you know? And there's this puppet guy named Geno that everybody likes a lot, so...
Geno. Everyone loves that little Pinocchio boy.
Oh, I didn't realize this was such a sore subject for you, Saki.
All I'm saying is there are a ton of other puppets out there. So what makes this Geno guy so special?
You know, that's a really good question. To celebrate Super Mario RPG's 25th anniversary, I played it for the first time. Of course, I knew going in that there was a huge love for Geno, but I didn't know why. Why do people love this living puppet with finger guns so much? I had my theories, but to help me figure it out, I sat down with my buddy Gadge, who just so happens to be the biggest Geno fan I know.
Yeah, so I actually got the game right when it came out. Like, I remember growing up, like, we had Nintendo for the longest time, and Super Mario RPG kind of came out at the end of the Super Nintendo, so like my folks were able to get it on a little cheaper price back then, so we got the Super Nintendo fresh, and that was the first game I got for Super Nintendo.
Gadge knows all there is to know about Super Mario RPG, but let's bring everyone else up to speed. Super Mario RPG landed on the Super Nintendo in spring of 1996. It was the last Mario game on the system, but more importantly, it was the first RPG in Mario history, developed jointly with Final Fantasy powerhouse Square, a company known today as Square Enix. It's a remarkable game for many reasons, getting the ball rolling for the future Mario and Luigi RPGs, pairing up Mario and Bowser for the first time, and, most importantly for many fans, introducing us to a certain character named Geno. You first meet Geno in Rose Town. Well, I guess it's more accurate to say that you meet the toy that will become Geno in Rose Town. A young toad boy named Gaz is playing with his Mario toys, including a doll he calls Geno.
Wait, he's not even a puppet? What a ripoff.
Relax, Saki, he's definitely a marionette. The team at Square actually based him off Pinocchio. And just like in that story, he comes to life. That night, a star being descends from above, possesses the doll, and sends it wandering off into the forest. For me, witnessing this moment nowadays felt like finally joining a special club. I'd heard about Geno for years, and now I was experiencing his story for myself. Of course, I'm aware of his legacy. It wasn't the same for players of the original game in '96, when Geno debuted.
I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't fall in love with Geno right away. Like, it was one where I was like, you know, what is going on here? Like, this puppet just came to life. But like, it was one of those things where the moment he went into the forest maze, you're chasing after him, and then you have that like bomb soundtrack of the forest maze. It's just one of the coolest experiences going through that with Geno. And then as he introduces himself and you find out he's like this like otherworldly warrior that's come down to help you fix the Star Road, it's just like, it was just this man of mystery, and it was just such a cool little introduction, something very different to the Mario series.
Gadge touched on a lot there, so let's break it all down. You've come to Rose Town seeking a star piece, one of the game's all-important MacGuffins. It is called Legend of the Seven Stars, after all. Later in the day, Gaz tells his mom that he saw Geno walk into the forest, an idea quickly dismissed by his mom as the daydreams of a young toad boy. But we know better. When we arrive at the forest maze, we follow Geno around several corners trying to track him down. It's mysterious enough watching him rise as a newly awakened puppet, but chasing him through this maze adds more excitement to the mystery. That makes him a cool character from the start.
I can be mysterious too, you know. Like, when's the last time I got a wash? Huh? How about that?
But do you have cool finger guns?
No.
So you see Geno come to life, follow him deep into the woods, then witness him confronting Bowyer, one of the game's first big bosses.
It was really like that first battle with him and actually seeing his battle style and how like he had this stoic nature to him. Like, just fell in love with his character, probably through the forest mazes and following him, but specifically after that first battle with him and seeing how he fought.
I have to agree with Gadge here. This is when Geno really clicked for me too. Geno sends his fists rocketing toward Bowyer and blasts him with bright Geno beams. As he levels up, he's able to buff his friend's attack power via Geno Boost, send a destructive disc flying forward with Geno Whirl, and use Geno Blast to rain down the power of the Star Road. More on that in a moment. His special attacks are powerful and visually interesting, but perhaps most intriguing is that they don't easily fit into a single RPG class category. Mario is your all-around fighter, Mallow is a bit of a bard, Bowser is the brute, and Peach is your healer. Geno isn't so easy to classify.
I would say he'd be a hybrid. Like, he is somewhat of an archer because he's definitely a ranged fighter. Because, like, even, like, his punch attacks is when he, like, launches his fist. Like, he has, like, the finger gun. He has, like, his Geno Whirl. Like, he's definitely, like, that hybrid where, while he has the range of an archer, he also has more of, like, almost like a magic-like nature to his attacks. So he's kind of like a mage.
So that's how Geno is introduced. He's a being from the Star Road, which was broken when a giant living sword named Exor fell onto Bowser's castle. By gathering the 7 star pieces, he can repair his homeworld. And when he joins the party, he brings a hybrid of ranged attacks and star magic to the table. There's something innately intriguing about a living puppet joining the party, but it's his role in battle where we see another reason why he's so beloved. For many, Super Mario RPG was their first foray into the genre. That's already formative. But when one of the first party members stands out amongst typical RPG classes, that's gonna leave a lasting impression.
I definitely say I start to favor mages. Like, I love using different magic and different spells. So, like, I love to see how creative, like, these developers can get with the type of spells they create for it. So, like, I would say I've started to gravitate more towards the mage, and, you know, I would be shocked if that stems from my initial introduction to Geno and just the way he played.
Now let's fast forward to our final moments with Geno. The end of his story is just as iconic as the start. Once you've gathered 6 of the 7 star pieces, you've got to face Exor and travel to another world. Battle through the factory there, take down the final boss Smithy, and you'll win yourself the final piece. Beating Smithy means Mario's world is safe from his robot weapon monsters, but it doesn't save the Star Road. To do that, Geno has to leave his puppet body behind and return home, taking the star pieces with him.
You know, you just kind of see, like, the puppet return to just being a puppet, just laying on the floor after you defeat Smithy, and, like, you know, he's going back. Like, while it was joyous and he's able to repair the Star Road, it's definitely one where I was like, oh man, I hope that's not the last we ever see of him, you know?
At least for Super Mario RPG, it was indeed the last we'd see of him. The star being returns to the Star Road, leaving behind a now lifeless puppet and all of his friends. It's a sacrifice that Geno knows he must make from the moment he awakens in Rosetown. He's doomed from the start, so to speak, taking a moment to reflect on that before jumping into the final battle with Smithy. It reminds me of other RPGs like Final Fantasy X and I Am Setsuna. In both of those cases, characters are intended as a sacrifice from the beginning of the game. Yuna in FF10 and Setsuna in her game. Geno makes the same sacrifice, which buys him a lot of favor with Mario RPG fans.
Even I can't be cynical about that. Takes some big balls to give up your friends.
Now technically, we have seen Geno since then. He does appear in the original release of Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, cameoing as the host of a minigame, but that's it. However, that hasn't stopped fans from wishing he'd make a return. And on that note, we have to talk about Smash Brothers.
I think with Brawl, where Sakurai actually said he was actually willing to consider Geno in there, so that's why, like, a lot of the extra hope came in, where it's kind of like, oh my god, it could happen someday.
Gage is referencing an interview with Smash Bros. Boss Masahiro Sakurai from the magazine Nintendo Dream. As translated by Source Gaming, Sakurai said, quote, "I wanted Geno to be a playable character. He has a gun for a hand, and I think he fits in really well with Smash. During Brawl, I thought it would be great if I could add him, but in the end it didn't become a reality." Brawl released 12 years after Super Mario RPG, so that's already more than a decade without another playable instance of Geno. And his fans have not been able to let it go. Geno didn't show up then, nor did he show up in the next game, Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS. The salt in the wound there was that Final Fantasy VII's Cloud, a fellow Square Enix character, did become playable in that game, relegating Geno to a simple Mii costume. Hopes were raised again with the advent of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, but Geno's fans' worst fear repeated itself. He's just another Mii costume in that game too.
I basically wanted to flip my computer as I was watching that one, but it was just one of those things where that was always my biggest fear, was that it was going to happen again.
Another reason why the internet clamors for Geno so much is the simple adage we've all heard a million times. You want what you can't have. Despite the teases, despite the consolation prize of Geno costumes, he hasn't actually shown up properly in the Smash Bros. Series. But the community refuses to give up hope, which is honestly quite inspiring.
Every trailer, I'm like, oh, that could be Geno. Like the one with, what is it? The Minecraft Steve. I remember when they were showing that, like, what looked to be like a dark hole. I'm like, oh my god, is that like Moleville? Is that like the Star Hill? Like, is that where they're at? Is Geno gonna appear out of a wishing star? You know, like, every single one of those, I've created a theory as to how it can be Geno.
Wow, I guess people really like this Geno guy, huh?
They really do. You can see it from the time you first meet him, with his mysterious movements in the forest maze. Then he jumps up into the cool category in that first battle, as you see this animated puppet fire bullets and star beams from his hands. When all is said and done, he makes his exit by leaving Mario's world behind to save his own, showing his noble character. And every time a new Smash Bros. Game or character announcement finds its way into the headlines, the fandom cries out for its favorite star being to finally be included, cementing an undying internet love.
I guess he's not so bad after all.
Geno is more than just one character from one game. He represents possibility. He represents a larger universe of Mario characters. He represents formative game-playing memories. All of that is why his legacy has endured for 25 years.
We just never got enough of him. Like, almost any other character that's ever come in a Mario game, you keep seeing him, like, reappear. Like, even in Mario Kart, it's, like, a playable, like, you know, character to, like, race with. Like, we haven't seen Geno given anywhere near that love. And, you know, you can argue that about the other Mario RPG characters as well, but Geno was that one that really captivated our hearts just because of how unique, how mysterious, and just, quite honestly, how badass he was.
Now that I've played the game myself, I have to agree. Here's hoping we see him again someday.
Tony's out getting that beer for me, but he said to tell you to hit that subscribe button in the middle because it would help a lot. And if you want to watch more framework stuff, hit the video on the far left. Yeah, okay.